My symptoms are excessive sweating hands and feet. My hands could be clammy to dripping sweat within 60 seconds or less. So it's something you don't talk about, it's something you keep secret, and you kind of just live inside your own world. I don't know how my hyperhidrosis is going to affect me, if I'm going to get embarrassed by it on a daily basis or have some physical limitation.
When I first saw Caryn's hand dripping, that's when I first learned really what hyperhidrosis was about. I remember her not really wanting to hold hands. And it's like, it's fine. It's like, I'm here for you. Like, nothing's gonna change between us. It's fine.
So when I was in elementary school, that's when I started to notice that something was a little different with me. I would be in class and we would have a buddy system to walk through the halls, and you were expected to hold hands with your buddy, and no one wanted to hold my hand. And I didn't understand why. I had a very difficult elementary school year. I feel like I cried every single day from at least first grade to third grade, you know? I didn't know it was a medical condition. I just was like, oh, maybe I am gross, I don't know. And I would ask my mom, what's wrong with me? I didn't know anything was wrong with me. I was in middle school when I found out what it even was.
I was hurting for her living through middle school. What if I never get a boyfriend because they don't want to hold my hand? What if I never get married? I think at that moment it became more real. Like, this could definitely impact her moving forward emotionally. So it wasn't like a cringeworthy, it was just like break your heart kind of moments, and knowing that I couldn't change it for her.
I'm a professional flutist, and playing my flute it's so challenging, and it's an obstacle I face every day. It's hard to hold on to the instrument. Many times I feel like I'm breaking my instrument just by holding it. My flute has been rusting and had to take it to the store to get it fixed often. And it also it tarnishes the instrument, I bought a brand new flute and all of a sudden it's like an antique, and people ask me, oh, is that an antique? I'm like, no, it's new, my sweat just discolored it. It just definitely feels like I can't play it to its potential and to my potential. I always have a towel with me, no matter what, but a lot of times when you're on stage, you're under the hot lights, first of all. So you're under the hot lights, you're sweating, and I just remember playing at Carnegie Hall last year, where I was holding onto my towel for dear life between rests. And I was just alternating, play a couple notes, then soak up my hands. And it was unfortunate because here I am playing at Carnegie Hall, a place that I've been wanting to play my entire life, and I had to focus on my hyperhidrosis. It was really frustrating.
So our wedding, we had a little bit of an issue, but we were able to kind of move past it. We're at the table, everyone's doing their speeches, and Caryn's like, my feet are starting to sweat. I'm not quite sure how we're going to be able to dance. But, she was starting to panic, and I want her to have a good time at our wedding. Her sister was like, why don't you put paper towels on your shoes? But luckily, that helped out a lot. We had a great time at our wedding, but yeah, hyperhidrosis did kind of sneak up in there.
Summers in New York City are terrible. The subways are brutal. When I get on the subway, having to hold on to the rail, I'm leaving just wet streaks on these poles that I'm supposed to be holding. I have this embarrassing story of me holding onto a rail and my hands dripping on the person sitting down below me. I have been living with hyperhidrosis my whole life, and as much of a physical condition it is with excessive sweating, it's a very emotional condition. Even when I was diagnosed, treatments weren't discussed. It wasn't until later on and more kind of my own research online that I found some treatments that, some were successful, some were not. Some were painful, some, did nothing. I was actually on some treatments which really helped out for 4 years, and it actually was very, very successful. But anyway, it stopped working and it was devastating. I was really getting towards depression because I had gone from 4 years of relief to going right back to square one, literally right back to square one.
When she first started her blog, that was really, really good for her. It was really cathartic for her. It was an outlet for her to talk about her experiences. People would write back to her, and it would be amazing. She would talk about something that happened in high school, and then someone from London would be like, I don't know what to do too, and it's so amazing that I can find someone online and it would be the same experience that I'm going through. And sharing her experience really helped her cope quite a lot.
Frances and I, we want to have kids, but we know it's hereditary, so there is a very, very good chance that I will pass on the gene for hyperhidrosis. That's something that scares us. It's something I've thought about, talked about, and I've even written about it on my blog. And I know how hard it was for me growing up as a kid, and I would never wish that on somebody. But what I do think is a positive is that if our kids do have hyperhidrosis, we will know the best way to help them through it in all aspects, emotionally, mentally, physically, socially. So I became involved in 2013 with the International Hyperhidrosis Society. I have used their website as such an incredible resource for tips and tricks of coping and living with hyperhidrosis, and they have the most up-to-date research. They really are the most important resource that someone living with hyperhidrosis should visit. What I think that people don't know is that people with hyperhidrosis do feel uncomfortable themselves. And this can really prevent just being yourself. We really shouldn't let hyperhidrosis hold us back from anything that we love. And a big reason too why I have now decided to become a special education teacher, really because of hyperhidrosis and because of the obstacles that I've overcome, and that I want to help other people overcome obstacles.
I want to be with her, and that's not going to stop me from being with her at all. Yeah, she's an extraordinary human being, and I'm lucky to have her as my wife.
Hyperhidrosis does not define Caryn. An amazing daughter.
Living with hyperhidrosis, though, has made me a stronger person. I definitely feel like people who have hyperhidrosis are strong because they need to get through this, living with it in their daily life. And so if you can get to the end of the day and you've gotten through coping the way you need to cope, you're strong and you should be proud for it. There's hope out there, but we need more research, more awareness and understanding. It's helping find a cure.